The truth is, you don't need 1,000 clients to hit six figures. With the right services, pricing, and systems, you can reach six figures with as little as maybe 75 to 100 clients, well structured. This guide will give you a checklist plus SOPs, frameworks for your staff. So, here are the six figure firm essentials. First of all, you need to choose your core services. So, think of your core services as, will that be tax preparation? Will it be tax planning? Will it be bookkeeping? Will it be payroll or advisory? Or will it be a bundle and a package of each of those services? I will tell you one thing, that as of right now, we have 55 clients where we make $375,000 per year because we bundle our services with our clients. So what happens is that they basically pick the package of bookkeeping, tax prep, and advisory, and those range from $500 to $2,500 a month. And that's how we are able to hit, over $300,000 in just tax and advisory and bookkeeping. So you can typically put those packages together depending on what the client needs. Then I would say that that's what you want to focus on, especially if they say that that is one of their pain points. You can offer them a solution to that problem. Now, the second thing you want to do is build service packages, like I had spoken about before, where it could be a basic package where it's just bookkeeping. It could be a premium package where it's bookkeeping, sales taxes, and end of year tax returns. Or you can do what's a VIP, where you meet with the client once a month, you go over their numbers, you strategize to see what exactly they would need to do in that quarter to not pay so much in taxes, or be able to move their money into different retirement accounts, basically strategizing with them, right? The next thing I would say is set up value-based pricing. So make sure that you're charging, depending on how much the clients make. So typically, if the clients are making over $300,000, you can start charging them between $600 and $700 per month. And then the more the client makes, then at that point, you can offer them that specific service, right? So you want to be able to go through that with the client. So the other thing too is that you want to document your SOPs for repeatability, right? So that you can repeat and your staff will be able to do the same thing over and over again, or create templates, or I would say, create a stencil for your staff so that they can follow the same process for each of the services. So for instance, we have a staff member that specializes just on payroll. So she works on payroll, she works on sales taxes, and she is our bookkeeper as well. So it just depends on how much the staff member can do, and then you train your staff to follow that process consistently. So making sure you have those stencils ready for your staff, it'll be the easiest thing possible. The next thing I would say is, tracking your KPIs, like your client onboarding, recurring revenue, and any profit margins that you're looking for. So for instance, if you're looking at your KPIs of, how much you're making on a certain service, then of course you want to keep track of that service and keep it separately from the bundle package. So depending on how you like to call your bundle package, you can decide to say, okay, we just want to have a business bundle that provides, your bookkeeping services, your sales taxes, your end of year tax return. And typically, those are the areas that we focus on with our clients. Now, for instance, here's what I would suggest. So, the first thing I would say is that you want to keep standard operating procedures for your staff. Now, I would say you want one for sales taxes, you want a SOP for bookkeeping, you want an SOP for payroll services, you want a SOP for advisory services if you're going to be the one doing the advisory services, or you're going to have your staff members provide that service. You would need to train them. Now, the best way to train your staff is to actually record yourself doing it, right? Doing the work, and then being able to show that video to your staff and have them write out the SOP, or you can practice with them so that they know how to run that standard operating procedure so that you don't have to be there every time to train a new staff member. So I encourage you to have templates, create stencils for your staff so that they can help you take ownership of these areas within the business. So one of the biggest things is having a staff member that does all of your deliverables, right? Which means all your onboarding, offboarding of your client, sending them maybe you have what's called an ACH form where your clients fill out, they need to sign it, fill out the information so that you can charge them on a monthly basis. But there are so many areas that we can focus on. In the next videos, I will be working and going through each of those steps with you so that you can implement that in your firm if that's where you're at right now. Right? So I hope this was helpful. One of the areas, again, I want to make sure of is that you really dial down the type of client that you're working with. So we specialize with restaurants, we specialize with trade services. So you can, look at that as like your roofing companies, your HVAC companies, your landscaping companies. That is who we specialize with, and that's who we work with. So most of the areas, a lot of the SOPs that we create, we have them within our company, and then we share them with our staff, and then I record myself doing the work, and then from there I transfer it over to my staff so they become owners of that job description. That's one of the best things I ever did, was to be able to share everything I want my staff to be doing, is train them the way I want, would be recording myself doing the work and then sharing that video with them as a link, and they would be able to look at that area. Now, I use Notion, and I keep track of all of my SOPs on Notion, and that's where I share that with my new staff member. They watch all of the different videos because I want them to know what all the other staff members are doing as well, so that if they have questions or any concerns, they can look up the videos and the SOPs there. So again, just want to make sure that you are keeping track of your KPIs, your client onboarding, your recurring revenue, your profit margins. Those are some of the areas you want to focus on. And again, depending on how you want to set up the value-based pricing for each of your clients, let's say right now you have a lot of tax clients, but you want to change them or switch them over to advisory and maybe payroll. So those are some of the areas that you can work on and actually give them a complementary analysis where you would take the information that you're already providing for them or review their tax return and see if there's another opportunity for you to provide them advisory or strategy. So I always say that if you have, tons of clients already, I would focus on the clients you have instead of looking for new ones, because they already know you. They know you, like you, and trust you. So I would focus on that area. Well, my friends, I hope this video was helpful. Please let me know in the comments below if you'd like to know more on how I can guide you throughout your journey. Talk to you soon. Bye.